In today's session of Divorce Court, when she got her master's degree in business, it put their marriage out of business.
He's threatened by my education.
After college, you couldn't say anything to her.
What I did was for the two of us. We both have benefited, Your Honor. We have a brand new Mercedes-Benz. We have a beautiful home. We take luxurious trips.
You believe she now has a master's degree, that you're not good enough for her?
She holds it over my head.
Now, I have my degrees, all right? We're equals. As a matter of fact, I got one over you.
Today, Gwen Hoyle meets her match as she faces Keith Hoyle and the judge in divorce court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Gwen Hoyle versus Keith Hoyle. Mrs. Hoyle, I'm advised that after 13 and a half years of marriage, you want to end it. Why?
Your Honor, let me tell you how this man hurt me. Just past July, I was on a business trip. He picks me up from the airport. I'm all happy to be coming home after 3 or 4 days being away, talking to him, asking him what we're going to do for the day. He would not talk to me. He was withdrawn, distant. I asked for a kiss. He wouldn't kiss me. He drove me up to our driveway, and I'm still like, what are we going to do today? What are we going to do today? I'm not doing anything with you today. I moved out while you were gone. Your Honor, I was devastated.
There's
What was
a
that
reason
all
for,
about?
Because if I had done it when she was there,
Your
she's
Honor,
so
he did it
controlling.
Wait
because
just
he
a
left
moment.
me
See, she won't
for
let-
a postal prostitute.
That means close
Now,
your
that's
mouth.
a lie. Now-
Mr. Hoyle, when this goes up, your lips close, okay? By the time it comes down, your mouth should be closed. Both of you. Now, why did you move out while she was gone?
Up to that point when she went away, I mean, the whole time, you know, she's always controlling. You know, she talks too much for one thing, as you can see already. After we were married, she decided to go to college.
She talks too much. She only said what she had to
I
say.
never can get a
Honor.
word in edgewise with her. And after we were married, she decided to go to college. After
because you
college,
wouldn't give
you
me
couldn't
any
say
time,
anything
Keith.
to her. No
Your
one could
Honor,
tell her
he
anything.
wouldn't
If you
spend
didn't
any
have a
time.
Mrs.
degree,
Hoyle?
if you didn't have a degree higher than hers, you couldn't
Your
tell
Honor,
her
that's
anything.
not true. He
I
went
told
to
her
college
people could
himself,
teach you.
and I helped
Anybody
him
can
write
teach
his
you stuff.
papers.
Okay, here we
You just
go
have to
again.
listen to him.
Your
You
Honor,
went
She
to
won't let me talk.
You went to college, she said, right?
So did he.
Okay, I'm about to get to him. I'm talking to you. You just finished college or something recently?
Not recently,
Okay,
Your
my
Honor.
papers say you have a master's degree, right?
Yes, ma'am.
When the professor was talking, you had to be quiet.
That's correct.
In order to listen.
That's correct.
All right. You said she's controlling. What do you mean by that?
Oh, I can't do anything. My friends don't want to come see me anymore
That is
because
not true, 'cause you're not
they
in
don't
the
want
house
to come.
anymore.
They don't
You
want to come
abandoned
over
me.
the
You
house
left the home.
because not because of me. It's because of her. You know.
But
That is
that's
not
not
true.
controlling you.
Oh, well,
Not
I-
true.
Well, give me some
He's
examples.
controlled by
Let
his
me tell
new
you.
28-year-old
It's
girlfriend.
like,
He's
and
41 years
she's
old.
lying.
Let's
She's
get to,
lying.
we're going to get to the 28-year-old girlfriend in a
With a
minute.
2-year-old
She-
child
she-
at
Mrs.
that.
Hoyle, this is my last time.
Your Honor, I
No,
understand.
no, don't talk when I'm talking. So you believe that now that she's completed her college education and she now has a master's degree, that you're not good enough for her? Or
She holds it over my head because, you know, she always tells me, you know, to go back to college or, you know, I like computers. She's saying, well, why don't you go back to school for computers? Well, I do it as a hobby.
why don't you think that is trying to encourage you to do something that you do well? Why wouldn't you look at it as that?
Because I told her and I gave her an answer for it. I said, I mess with computers as a hobby because I like it. I don't want to make a living at it. I don't want to do that every day.
So
I
what
like
you feel
I'm
is she's
doing.
trying to tell you how to make your living.
And I told her I like what I'm doing. I stay in the military because I like the military. I work for the post office because I
you
enjoy
enjoy it.
working for the post office.
Doesn't he have the right to do and to work at a job that he enjoys regardless of whether you enjoy it or not?
He doesn't have a right as my husband to be bringing his subordinate employees home, a postal prostitute, while I'm out on a business trip,
now that's a
earning
lie.
money for the two of
Nobody
us. He had her
brings-
up in our home, Your
she's
Honor.
making all
threw
this
a
up,
pool
Your Honor.
party,
Now you need to be
threw a
quiet.
pool
While
She's
she's
making it
party.
up.
You need to
She's
be
making
I
it
found
up.
her hair in a brush.
She's making
in
it
our
Mrs.
up.
home.
Hoyle, Mr. Hoyle, now don't make me say this again. Are you doing what you want to do?
Your Honor, what I did was for the two of us. When we both have benefited, Your Honor, we have a brand new Mercedes-Benz. We have a beautiful home. We take luxurious trips. As a matter
And that's
of fact,
what you
Your
enjoy
Honor,
doing, is that right?
Oh, yes, Your Honor.
And now that you have a
loved
master's
it.
degree, do you think that he's not as good as you?
No, Your Honor, he's threatened by my education.
So it's all on him.
He makes up things, all these excuses as to why he left me. The bottom line is he left me for a postal prostitute. He leaves me for someone that he's 13 years older than. She has a 2-year-old child living home with her mother.
So now you're saying that he's left you for another woman and she has a child, but he wouldn't let you have a child.
He wouldn't let me have one. She lives at home with her mother, and he had the nerve. He had her in our home and introduced her to me at his Super Bowl party. This little girl.
How did he have her in your home? He said he doesn't let you. You don't let him have parties.
Oh, he has all kinds of parties. He had a huge Super Bowl party, Your Honor. She was so fascinated over our home. She's only about this big, little tiny little girl. Haven't been nowhere. Oh, I love your home. Oh,
so
how did you make these meatballs? Can I have a tour of your home?
Hold on a second,
Your Honor, I show this girl all through our home, everything.
So now you know what I hear from you on that? It's just like he said. You belittle other people that are not on the same level as you.
Your Honor, you would belittle her too if she took it. Your Honor.
Just listen to me. Now, I have my degrees, all right? We're equals. As a matter of fact, I got one over you, all right?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So the point is, it seems to me that just because a person is working at the post office and his coworker comes and he's the supervisor, is it your position that if you're a supervisor on a job that you can't ever have a friendship or a relationship with those who are not in the same capacity? I'm over JoJo. That means you can't come to my house ever.
Your Honor,
that's the way it's got to be.
Honor, this young lady.
Is that what you're saying?
This is what I'm saying, Your Honor. This young lady took pictures in my home while I was wearing a business trip with him and her.
No, you want to jump from one question to another. And for a person who tends to like to show respect and to judge people according to where they are on the social ladder and on the working ladder, you're not showing me very much respect in terms of protocol. Every time I said to you to be quiet, you haven't respected me.
Your Honor, I apologize. I'm so hurt what this young girl did. She waved pictures on his job. The entire post office knows about their affair. She waved pictures of him and her taken in my home.
Well, is it the problem that she's 28 years old that concerns you, or is it the problem that she's a subordinate and she's not on the same level, and you think that, okay, now I've gone and gotten a master's degree, and now you leave me for a 28-year-old short person? Is it the fact that she's short?
No.
Is it the fact that she's tiny?
No.
She's 28? What is it?
Your Honor, the problem is that she waved pictures of him and her and said, this is what good blank gets you, to all the employees at the post office. In other words, she's telling them she got my man. Next, she's going to get my house. Next, she's going to get our car.
Now, you know she can't get your house and your car.
Your Honor, she was in my home every time I was away on a business trip. He had her up in there doing you know what with her.
How do you know if you're away on a business trip?
Because I found her hair in a brush.
She did not.
Wait a minute. I found her hair in a brush.
You found her hair in a brush? Her hair. So wait a minute. What's your degree in? What's your degree in?
My degree is in business.
It's in business?
Yes.
So it's not in scientific research of any kind, right?
No other woman lives in our home.
So how did you know it was her hair in the brush?
I found all kinds of towels that had been used at the pool party.
So how do you know it was her towel?
Because I called his job and someone gave me all details what went on at that pool party.
And you believe this person?
The person is very reliable.
Why is that person reliable? Is he a subordinate?
Because the person saw the pictures. No, the person is not a subordinate. The person saw the pictures.
No. The person that told you this, that's so reliable, where does he or she rank? Is it a subordinate employee?
At his level.
Oh, that one is in a managerial level.
Exactly.
Do you think that he's less? Because
I don't think he's less. I love this man, Your Honor. To prove to you how much I loved him, I threw him a huge 40th birthday party last year for his birthday. This birthday, I said, honey, where do you want to go? I knew our marriage was having problems. I said, I'll take you where you want to go.
So you're going to buy him back, huh?
I took him to California because he chose that trip. I spent money on airfare for the both of us. We get to California. He treated me withdrawn, distant. Our anniversary was
But wasn't he treating you like that before you left?
Yes, he was.
So you didn't expect anything any differently?
When divorce court returns, Gwen makes serious allegations towards Keith's witness.
She called and told me I just left with this guy and I did it because he's got a Mercedes.
That snake, he's been trying to pick me up.
And Gwen goes too far.
Miss Hoyle, bye. Out.
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. Divorce court is back in the case of Gwen Hoyle, who says her husband Keith moved out of their house and left her while she was away on a business trip.
So tell me about this 28-year-old subordinate employee that you're having an affair with.
Well, I'm not having an affair with her.
Where, did you ever have one with her?
No.
Did you bring her into your home when your wife was gone?
I had
Did
a
you
party.
swim and have a party with her?
Yeah, and I have pictures, but it wasn't just her. I had at least 10 employees.
Any other females?
Yes, it was mixed. And
But how did her hair end up in the brush? Was it just her hair?
no, I don't know how she knew. It wasn't her hair because she wasn't in there using a brush.
Did you allow a woman to use your wife's brush?
No,
No.
his brush, Your Honor.
No.
Oh, it's his hairbrush.
See,
Yes.
Your Honor, can I get to the point?
Well, how do you know whether it was a man's hair or a woman's hair?
She
And which
doesn't,
one's
Your
hair
Honor,
was?
can I get to the
Your
point
Honor.
here?
Explain that to me.
I'd like to get to the point is, you know, she's trying to say that there's something wrong with the marriage over that's past 3 months. I've left the house several times, you know, for the whole situation of her being so controlling,
That's
you know,
not
trying to
true.
tell me, you know, what I can do and what I can't do. I
Ms.
was
Hoyle?
just sick of it. I have a witness here who I called
That
and told
snake
him
you
about.
And he
called
can
that
tell
a
you what?
witness,
He
he's been
can-
trying
he
to
can
pick
tell
me
you
up.
about when
He's
I
been
called him
calling my
about the
home,
clock.
trying to pick me up.
Let
when
me
he's
hear from
right
the
on
witness,
reserve
because
duty.
Oh my goodness.
Come
He
forward.
runs a halfway house, Your Honor. My husband is the
There you
second
go,
husband.
talking again.
Your Honor,
Did
can
I ask
please-
you to talk?
Well, I just want to let you know about that snake.
Let me hear him talk first.
Okay.
You really want to keep him closed up before he says
Oh,
anything?
no. I want to hear what he has to say because he calls me
What's
on
your
the phone
name?
all the time.
Stephen Henson, Your Honor.
Stephen Henson.
Henson. Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Henson, Mrs. Hoyle, I heard her say this much, that you're a snake and you're calling her and you're trying to pick up on her. Tell me about that.
Absolutely not.
Your Honor,
Ms.
this
Hoyle,
gentleman,
bye. Out. Did he tell you anything about he planned to leave his wife when he got back from vacation?
No, Your Honor.
Did you help him pack up
Yes.
while she was gone?
He called me and said, Steve, I can't take it anymore. He goes, I got to get out here now because if I try to leave while she's here, she will be violent and she will try to stop me. I don't want any problems. And then he always called me and say, look, you know, how's the law on domestics? And I tell him, I said, look, domestic violence, man, is a serious, serious thing. What you need to do is...
So he discussed it with you before he moved out?
He asked me about domestic violence.
Oh, he wanted to get out before she wasn't there so there would be no domestic
So it wouldn't
violence.
be, yes, ma'am. And this thing about me making passes, first and foremost, she is definitely not my type. Not at all, okay? I have better taste. But the thing is that she
Now
don't
you're
call me.
talking about your friend's wife.
She-
You're not supposed to do that.
Ma'am, I'm telling you, okay, well then my friend's wife gonna call me up 2 o'clock in the morning talking about, Steve, I'm drunk, and you know, I just this guy, and I think I just did it. I think he wanted
Oh,
because
no.
I have no need to
She,
lie.
she didn't call to tell you that she had an affair with
She
somebody
called
else.
and told me I am drunk. I just left with this guy, and I did it because he's got a Mercedes, and he did me because I got a Mercedes. And she's always telling me, oh, yeah, I make $60-something thousand a year, and Keith can't be off on his own, and that's why he won't leave me because I make all the money around here. And Keith makes a little bit of money, she says.
I bet she won't agree with that.
I'm sure she won't, but I have no need to lie. And I'm telling you, honest, this thing about me, no way, never.
All right, Joe, you want to go get Mrs. Hoyle? Maybe she can come back in here and tell me what's going on now. Maybe she can keep her mouth quiet so she knows that I'm serious. Anything else, Mr. Henson?
Well, she also she's going to tell you that I let all my friends stay there that want to leave their wives. That isn't the case. My friends, I have 3 best friends.
I don't want to talk about your other friends.
Okay,
They're
good.
not here
All right.
to defend
All right, good.
themselves. All right, thank you. Have a seat. Ms. Hoyle,
Ma'am.
you ready to respect me now as a judge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Henson said that you were calling his home after having an affair with some man that owned a Mercedes, and you called him out of guilt when Mr. Hoyle was at the house and confessed this affair.
First of all, Your Honor, I didn't call him confess any affair. My husband lives in his home because Steve runs a halfway home. He allows men and help men to leave their wives. I'm the second wife that he did this to. He did it to another
So
friend.
did you have an affair with anybody else
No,
since you and your
ma'am.
husband been separated?
No. Since my husband and I have been separated, it's not an affair. I have a friend now, but my husband has been gone 6
Okay,
months.
did you have sex with this friend since you and your husband been
No,
separated?
I have not, Your Honor.
So you don't call it an affair?
No.
You just call
He's-
it a friend?
I have a friend. My
And what
husband
you
left
and your
me
friend
6
do together?
months ago. What do? We go out to
Yes.
dinner, we go to plays, we go to theater, different things.
But nothing sexual?
No, ma'am. We
And
are
you didn't
not
call
sexually
him drunk
involved.
and out of guilt telling him that?
No, I did not call. First of all, I didn't even call to speak to him. He answers his telephone, but in reference to Steve, the reason why my husband lives with Steve, Steve moved my husband out of my home.
Well, he admitted to that he helped him move. He said to avoid the violence because you
No.
can be violent.
I went over there after the postal prostitute told me on the phone when your husband ain't
There she
coming
go,
back to
calling.
you, and
See,
you wait
she
till I
doesn't
finish
learn.
blanking him
She
tonight.
All right, now
She
so
told me
now
what
you're
she was
talking about
doing.
this trip.
She just
Okay,
like-
Your Honor, what happened with this trip? First of all, this man premeditated that he was going to leave me. He knew it for months, Your Honor.
So you want to be reimbursed?
I want to be reimbursed for my trip. Since he moved out of that home, since he took that trip with me, he left me 3 weeks after that trip. Right after he left me, something comes in the mail. Dear Mr. Hoyle, thank you for your recent address change. I found also a new checking account he opened with
That
his
was
name
after I
on it.
left, Your Honor.
No, you did not. You
Okay,
did
so
not. He
tell
opened
me
it
your
before
position.
he left.
So you think that he should reimburse you because he
He
planned
used me.
to leave you
He
before
planned
you
to
took
leave
him
me
on
all
this
along,
last...
and this snake planned it with him how they were going to move out
Honor.
while I was on a business trip. He planned to use me. He got his birthday present out of me, this free trip, and I want my money back, Your Honor. He didn't do me any good on that trip. I could have taken that trip with a girlfriend and enjoyed
Or
it.
another male friend, right?
It was
Maybe
nothing
eventually.
Like that.
When divorce court returns, the judge renders her verdict.
You already
Believe me,
told
Your
me that,
Honor.
and don't tell me that again. I heard everything you said, Mrs. Hoyle.
And an update on the case of Kim Reynolds versus Virgil Reynolds.
He left Florida, took his money,
Wait a minute,
and
let's tell
left.
the truth.
She's a con artist, and her family is too, from the word go.
Divorce Court will be back in session in a moment. Divorce Court is back and the verdict is in the case of Keith Hoyle, who says his wife's college education ruined their marriage.
I don't think I owe her anything. All I wanted was the furniture that I gave her the house. I have papers where I signed the house, no arguments over it. I paid for the house while I wasn't living there, while she stayed there, so she could get it refinanced in her own name. I didn't want anything out of it. I signed it over to her. I basically wanted the furniture I came into the marriage with and split up what we got while we were married.
Did you get that?
I didn't get anything. She
So
won't
you
let me
haven't
in the
gotten
house.
anything?
No, she's got it in the house. She's changed the locks and everything.
And all you want is the furniture that you took into the marriage?
And half of what we got when we were together.
Just furniture, but you
That's
gave her
it.
the house.
I gave her the house.
You didn't ask me about the furniture and any of those items in your moving papers. I can only give you and grant requests that are asked. You didn't ask me that, but I can tell both of you that he's entitled to half of everything that was purchased during the marriage. One half, either the items themselves or the value of the items. I can tell you that. Now, with respect to the reimbursement for the airline tickets for his birthday gift to California,
But he premeditated he was going to
you
leave
already
me,
told me
Your
that,
Honor.
and don't tell me that again. I heard everything you said, Mrs. Hoyle. But you're not going to get reimbursed for those airline tickets because you also told me that you were getting along badly before you planned the trip, that you knew your marriage was on the rocks, that you were trying to save the marriage by doing the trip, and that you asked him what he wanted to do, and you told him that you would take him where he wanted to go, that you already were cold to each other. So you thought going to sunny California was going to warm up the
I
bodies,
wasn't
and
cold
it
to
didn't
him.
work.
I love him, Your Honor. I loved him.
You know what?
I was not cold.
Court's adjourned. Goodbye.
When Divorce Court returns, an update on the case of Kim Reynolds versus Virgil Reynolds.
But I didn't steal his money. If I had $150,000, why would I have to live on the streets?
Closed captioning for Divorce Court provided by. If you would like to have the judge hear your case in Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. And now for an update on a previous case in Divorce Court. Kim said her husband Virgil abandoned her after he received $1 million settlement from an injury lawsuit.
He left Florida, took his money, and left.
truth.
But Virgil said the marriage fell apart after Kim swindled him out of his money.
She's a con artist, and her family is too, from the word go.
But I didn't steal his money. If I had $150,000, why would I have to live on the streets?
Did she stop working?
She never did work.
There was 11 children total. I took care of at 23 years old.
Well, I think that was more work than you and I ever could have done, working on the railroad, working as a judge, and anything else. I object to that.
Virgil wanted Kim to give back $150,000 he believed she had stolen. But Kim said Virgil spent the money on vacations and gifts for family and friends. After hearing both sides, The judge dismissed the case because Virgil did not have enough evidence. Kim says that after they left court, Virgil came to her home and asked her for another chance, but she refused and told him to leave. Virgil denies trying to reconcile with Kim. Instead, he says he's working hard on his plan to become a millionaire again. He recently purchased land with his brother-in-law, and they plan to develop real estate together.
He's threatened by my education, and he's trying to justify why he left me. There's no justification for infidelity.
Move on, and basically that's what I wanted to do in the beginning. She's the one that kept this drawn out.
I do regret not having children, but then again, the way he walked out on me, it's better that a child didn't have to experience the devastation that I went through. I do plan to have children in my future marriage.